So the whole what if Goku was betrayed and locked in the time chamber, or betrayed by Whis and locked in his staff, has kind of been around for a little bit now, and it was kind of around more so when I wasn't even doing content. And I know there is still people that do content on this type of subject or on this type of what if, and I just thought, you know what, I want to give my own 2 cents. So I'm gonna be doing my own what if Goku was locked in the time chamber, and I'm gonna make this simple for you guys. I'm not gonna build a whole story on this because I don't really see it to be super fit in that regard. Now, I want to talk about 3 different circumstances though that I believe Goku would actually or possibly either be betrayed or locked in the time chamber or some sort of time chamber dimension. And let's just start with the very first one. In my opinion, the very first one would have to be in Dragon Ball, or at least in that transition period, because during Dragon Ball and he goes up and he actually trains with Kami, they actually send Goku into the time chamber. And if Kami decided that he was too afraid of Goku, that he was scared that Goku, being that he is an alien and that he is very strong and he's rapidly growing, and that it's as if he's innocent, but at the same time he doesn't know his own strength, so Kami decides to lock him away in the time chamber. This version of Goku wouldn't ever make it out of the time chamber, in my opinion. We all know that Kid Goku wasn't able to last in the time chamber for very long, being that of only around 3 months. So in my opinion, if Kami locked Goku in the time chamber, there would be full intent of Goku's death, because Goku wouldn't be able to actually build up and gain strength because of the immense pressure and just all of the attributes that the time chamber kind of holds. It's gonna press down on Goku, and in my opinion, he would end up dying. On top of that, Goku would have like no food in there in the first place, so he's either gonna die from starving or he's just gonna die because of the effects of the time chamber. On top of that, this would drive Goku mad, so he would easily end up just perishing in this room. Yes, this kind of is a little bit morbid and kind of sad to think about, because our young Kid Goku would perish at the hands of so-called Earth's guardian, or the god of Earth, and that is a pretty sad reality. Now, I've seen in the past people say that what if Goku survived throughout this entire time and he came out of that time chamber? In all reality, even if he was able to come out of that time chamber, he would be in such a mad state, in such a state that his brain would kind of be at that kid level, and he would be unable to actually understand what is going on and what's happening. Honestly, in my opinion, Goku would probably come out and kill everyone there. There would be no conversation. There would be no pure heart. He's been locked away for a very long time. So that version of Goku would 100% destroy the entirety of the Earth. But in my opinion, in this first scenario, Goku wouldn't even make it out of the time chamber. Unfortunately, the young child going in would never come out as an adult and would perish away within that time chamber, and Earth would fall victim to, of course, we know as King Piccolo, and most likely, and eventually, Dr. Gero would eventually take over with Cell and the androids and so on, and Earth would be more or less doomed. I mean, Bulma and Dr. Gero may team up and try to stop whatever's happening, but at the end of the day, Earth would be doomed. If it's to the androids, if it's to King Piccolo, if it's to Cell, it all would come crumbling down to ash. Now, with that said, let's talk about the second scenario. The second scenario I would see is Goku being locked in the time chamber during the Cell Saga. Now, he wouldn't be alone. And unfortunately enough, this would be a Goku and Gohan being locked away in that said time chamber. Now, in this scenario, I could 100% see Goku and Gohan getting out. Now, the reason for that is more or less because of their power. Once they realize that the door is erased, completely gone and destroyed, they now understand that they're in a spot and in a really bad position that they have to somehow get out of here. And if the Dragon Balls can't get them out, which eventually most likely that people on the outside would somehow figure out a way to go get Dragon Balls, either that is from Namek or so on. But the more likelihood, or the more likely scenario in my opinion, would be Gohan and Goku training and rationing food as much as possible, all the way up until they are strong enough and powerful enough, and as a combined effort to pop a hole or a wormhole or kind of like a breach in the space-time continuum so that they can walk through this other dimension. Now, they would have to get out based on pure raw power, but the time that they spend in there would be ridiculous. We're talking about rationing food when Saiyans and also even hybrid Saiyans eat a ton of food. Eat a ton. So it would kind of be eating at them, killing them in a way. So if we're talking about rationing food that's supposed to last only a year into kind of food that needs to last 3 to 4 to maybe even 5 years, well, that's a scenario that's extremely detrimental for both Gohan and Goku. Would this make for some extremely powerful warriors? 1000%, but it would also probably drive Gohan and Goku just a little bit mad. But luckily they have each other, so they can at least break through certain walls and certain power levels quicker than if it was just Goku on his own. Both Gohan and Goku training together over and over again would awaken powers like Super Saiyan 2 and probably eventually Super Saiyan 3, eventually allowing them, with a combined power like I said, to breach through the time chamber. Once they walk out, they would be actually unrecognizable in terms of power, and also Gohan would be unrecognizable because he would look more like an adult. He would be the bigger version of Gohan. He would be no kind of youth Gohan, which we all know teen Gohan isn't actually teen Gohan, but he would be bigger, closer to adulthood, and frankly, everybody would be completely shocked about how strong they have gotten. Piccolo, Vegeta, Trunks, they would question what happened, question what occurred, and Goku and Gohan would tell him or tell them that they might be powerful, but this was not worth it. It was driving them mad. They were locked away, stuck, unable to go, and Goku would immediately leave, going to Namek, thinking to himself that they need to get the Dragon Balls to make sure this scenario never happens again. Of course, Vegeta would want to train just like they trained, lock them away and do this and do that, but Goku and Gohan would speak on the fact that they trained out of necessity of living. They haven't trained like that ever. They've trained on the regard of, well, needing to get stronger because the enemy is so powerful, but they've never trained out of a necessity to live, out of a necessity that if they don't train and get stronger, they will just die. And that's something that no person wants to hold within themselves. It's an idea and a kind of a fragment of their brain that they had to kind of push forward to allow them to get to this new height. And frankly, that fragment of their brain pushed them to insanity, and in a way kind of made them a little bit crazier, giving them kind of a sense of PTSD. Now, from the rest of the story on, Goku and Gohan would be extremely powerful. They would be capable of very high level things, and Majin Buu would be no issue, and so on and so forth, and they would have a head start on basically everyone. Now, the rest of the story would go relatively the same, just with a Goku and Gohan that is slightly stronger, and Gohan, of course, would not like fighting even more. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's the truth. But at the same time, maybe even his mentality would be a little bit different because of the fact that now he's trained so much and he's worked so hard and he's trained with his father so much. Maybe that's created some sort of a bond where he feels a necessity to continue on with the life that he once had within the time chamber for so long. That might sound like an odd thing, but actually it's not too outlandish when you think about it, because when you do something so much over and over again, well, sometimes you've done it so much that is part of your life, that is glued and ingrained in your brain that you can't just be rid of it. Sometimes your body, your instincts, and all of it will crave for something that had put you in such utter duress. And I could see that possibly happening to Gohan. And would that make him train just a little bit more? Probably, but it would be a sad way to go about it, because Gohan and Goku would really never be the same. Goku would probably recover a little bit better than Gohan would, but Gohan, he wasn't a fighter in the first place. He would be dealing with so many demons within his brain that even therapy would probably not be able to help him, and the Dragon Balls probably wouldn't even be able to cure him of that anyways. It's kind of like a reminder of something that occurred, a mistake, or even kind of an incident that you had no control over. But that is a sad version of that in that regard, when Goku getting locked in the time chamber would drag Gohan in there as well. Now, you might be wondering, what is the third time that I'm thinking of? And it's not necessarily the time chamber. I'm more thinking of Goku getting locked away in Whis' staff. And in my opinion, it would be a little bit better to see, or a little bit easier to do, if you had both Goku and Vegeta. Let's say Beerus felt that both Goku and Vegeta were a threat not only to the universe, but also to himself, and he didn't want to lose the title of God of Destruction. So, in that regard, Whis would trap them both in that realm, in the realm of that staff. And once they're both trapped in that staff, Beerus would tell Whis to leave him in there. Beerus would leave and go take a nap, but the thing is, he never tells Whis he can't stock up the staff with food. Every time Beerus asked for food, he would stock it up. He would stock it up more and more and more, and he can make the excuse, because of course he can't do things out of angel category, and he can't do things out of the ordinary for an angel, but he can put food in his staff for quote-unquote Beerus. He doesn't have to, well, know if Vegeta and Goku are eating the food or not, and that's a perfect excuse to more or less allow them both to still stay alive. And we have no idea how Whis' staff necessarily works. It could be like the time chamber, and it is referenced that it is pretty similar, but I would say the time restraints aren't as gradual or as insane, and it won't be like, oh, a day out here is a year in there. I think it would be a little bit different than that. But let's just say Goku and Vegeta training in there for a long period of time, and then eventually realizing that they cannot get out. Well, they would continue training, continue getting more and more powerful, so much so that they can bust through the staff entirely. And Vegeta makes this clear that if he's able to bust out of the hyperbolic time chamber, kind of destroying it and still ending up on the other side, maybe they can do the same for the staff. Maybe they can pop a hole, a wormhole that allows them to travel through the staff without actually being let out. And after insane amounts of training, insane amounts of stress, and just going through absolute utter agony from the fact that they were trapped in there with only them two and their thoughts, well, let's just say once they're able to find a way out of that staff, once they find their way out, it's over. Beerus is going to be killed. Both Goku and Vegeta training together for a very long period of time in a world more or less built for them to get more powerful, it would be over for Lord Beerus. The God of Destruction would make his last mistake, and arguably I could see this universe, this timeline, actually trending toward a Beerus death and a Vegeta taking the mantle of God of Destruction, promising that he would do better than Beerus ever would, and Vegeta would gain kind of his lasting immortality, just in terms of living forever. Now, Vegeta is a deity, so he can live on for as long as he kind of stays alive, but Goku is no deity. So I could see that this would lead them down a pathway, eventually leading to, well, Goku eventually passing away. But I can see in my own mind, or at least I would hope so, that this universe, this timeline would end with a final battle between a Vegeta who hasn't aged at all and a Goku who is on the older side of things, but still with his Ultra Instinct form. Vegeta has said that the next time they fight, or at least is said at the end of Dragon Ball Z, that the next time they fight, they would need an entire planet as their battleground, and this would be the final fight that they would ever have. Vegeta and Goku going head to head one last time. Two people who have gone totally separate pathways. The Saiyan Prince, now God of Destruction, and once low-class warrior, Son Goku, now immortalized in the entire universe, known around all of the cosmos as the Savior, known around every single planet as someone that helps those who cry out for peace. This would be the end for Son Goku and the beginning of the journey for the God of Destruction, Vegeta. But that is also where I'm going to be ending this What If. As you can see, in my opinion, what if Goku being locked away, if that's the time chamber or Whis' staff, could end in various different ways. Now I want to know, how do you think this scenario would have ended? What do you think would have happened? And also, maybe you have a different idea of when this could have occurred. Maybe you think that it could have occurred in the Saiyan Saga or the Buu Saga or something like that. Let me know what you think, because yeah, I just love reading the comments below, seeing what you guys thought about the What If and what you guys personally would have done in a What If like this as well. But as always, be nice in the comment section below. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, like I said, and all that good stuff. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.